Hi everyone, I'm Professor Beck, and I am going to be your professor for the diversity course. I am really excited that I get to be part of this conversation because I think this class is one that I want you to do some thinking, maybe even get outside of your own comfort zone a little bit. So think about the purpose of this class. It really is to make you think. It is, how do my own experiences color my reaction to things? And then how do someone else's in the class make them feel differently? Because I believe it's all about conversation. It's all about building relationships and understanding where other people are coming from. And our lens is what colors our view of the past. So I want you to think about the world we live in today, what the word diversity means to you. And we are going to break this down into some really broad topics, such as socioeconomic status. I know we talked about it in Founds and Trends. We're going to talk about it again. It's a key piece to the work that we're doing. So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about the color of our skin, the race that we are, maybe the diversity and differentiation that's needed in education. Um, Thinking about all of these big topics that we hear discussed on the news. What does it really mean for me going into the classroom and into teaching in general? How do I meet the needs of these students? And how do I make sure that I do it without bringing my own thinking or my own experience to the table? So I want you to think about that as we go into the course. One of the key components of this course is each week you are going to do some diversity opportunity, is what we're calling it. But we're going to let you go and experience some new things. It might be a cooking class with the Hmong club that's on campus. Or the Barnabas group, the Hmong Barnabas group. I know they cook frequently. It might be going and cooking with them, or finding a missionary kid from a different culture and getting them to do a cooking lesson. It might be attending a jazz concert because you've never really listened to jazz music and you really don't have any understanding of what it is. It could be watching online some form of play or a Broadway show, something like that. So I want you to spend some time getting out of your own comfort zone this course, and that will be built into your discussion post each week. You will do kind of a quick biography as a discussion post at the beginning, and then we'll dig in a little deeper each week around the topic and have some connections to not only the things you've read, the slideshows that you've listened to. I will also include the video and the slideshow because I think for this course, it's really important that you have the slideshow to go back and take notes. So I will allow you to have those up until the midterm. So on the midterm day, I will turn those slides off. So you will be able to use your notes. You'll be able to use anything that you have, but I will turn those off. So you will have access to those right up until then. If you will, my contact information is in the system. Please feel free to reach out anytime. I will be in the system though a lot, giving you feedback, talking to you in the discussion post. We will have some really cool activities in this unit or in this course. Look at the syllabus. If you have some questions, please let me know. There is a quiz that you have to mark as that you read the code of conduct and you accept the code of conduct. Within the first, I believe it's due on the 21st, which is a Wednesday. So the way the course is set up, before you even look at any of the syllabus or anything, the first thing you'll see is your main discussion post. Your initial discussion post will be due on Wednesday night. That way, other people have the opportunity to read the discussion post and respond to everyone. Then your responses to the discussion post and all work, any task or any activities, any papers, anything like that is due on Friday night at midnight. That goes for the quizzes or what we're calling a midterm and the final as well. They will be due on Well, the midterm's due on Friday night. The final is due on the date that TFC says you're to take your final. So those are online. They are all built into the system. Some of them are essay questions, so you will have to wait until I grade them. But as far as the multiple choice, you'll be able to know if you got them right or wrong when you're finished. So I want you to know that you will have one time to take each of the quizzes and to turn in any of the activities. So you do have a 10% penalty if you're late on anything, but you need to make contact with me. You need to keep me in the loop of what's going on. I'm super easy to reach, and I'm very willing to work with you if we can work things out. But I want you to know that I do expect you to reach out to me. If you don't reach out to me, then I will not be so quickly to forgive and just allow you willy-nilly to make things up. Typically, I do stop makeup work 2 weeks before the class is out. Otherwise, the fact that you have put off your work makes me in an emergency to get it done. So I am going to cut off the makeup work 2 weeks before the end of the semester, which means you have 6 weeks to get in any makeup work. And then I will do all the final grading those last 2 weeks so that we're ready to go. And you know what your grade is. And I'll typically send something out and let you know where the points stand and how that works. So I'll do some videos along the way, as well as doing some announcements. So check those. If you don't check your email all the time, check your announcements pretty frequently when you log into the class. But the class is set up to have your initial discussion post due on Wednesday night by midnight, and everything else is due on Friday night by midnight. I believe that is it. Oh, I did want to tell you that usually for things that are due on Wednesday, I will typically have those graded by the weekend. And then anything due on Friday, I will try to get them done that weekend, but it might be the next week that I get that complete, just depending on what my time frame looks like. So if you would go ahead and add any pieces of information to your initial discussion post in week 1. There's a lot of things to read in week 1. We will be using all of those things, but they will be kind of dispersed throughout. One question that I had a lot last semester, I have a place for your dispositional evaluation. For you, it is in week 1 for you to download it and do the work. I don't necessarily want you to send it in until the end of the 9 weeks. And I hope to meet with each of you in those last 2 weeks and kind of talk through what your challenges were in the course, where you feel like you've grown, where you feel like you need to grow, and see what we can do to support that growth. So those are kind of my overall goals for you. And I hope that you will reach out if you have any questions. Week 1 is really an overview. There is a video in week 1 about how to search, find, and cite an article. I know a lot of you had me for Founds and Trends, so you've probably already worked through some of those challenges. But just as a refresher, in case you haven't had a teacher that made you do APA style, which is what we use in education courses, I want you to make sure that you have that knowledge and availability. So feel free to watch. Please watch all of the videos and read all of the information in week 1. The only task you have due in week 1 is to introduce yourself and take that initial quiz. So if you would do those, go ahead and start wrapping your head around the diverse opportunity. If you have an opportunity in week 1, go ahead and do it. You can write about it in week 2. I don't really care when you do them, but I want you to begin to understand what it's like to be a minority. Try to go to someone's church a type of church you've never been to before, whether that be, for instance, I know Professor Canella goes to a Greek Orthodox church, I believe. Take an opportunity to go visit him at his church and just see what different things are happening. See what the pomp and circumstance looks like in a Catholic church or in a African-American church. What are differences, or maybe a Hispanic church? Think about those different pieces that you could put yourself in a situation that maybe you feel a little uncomfortable or you feel nervous, because there are a lot of times that other people feel nervous coming into our world. And so that piece gives us empathy. It gives us the ability to understand sometimes how our students feel walking into our classroom. I once had a student who came directly from, not Cuba, from a Spanish speaking country, and it's escaping me now, but she walked in my door without knowing a single word of English. And so in 4th grade, we had to do a lot of work around how do you make friends with somebody who doesn't speak your language? How do you take a test as a non-English speaker? So there were a lot of pieces that as a teacher, I needed to understand just a tiny fraction of how she felt, to give me the empathy to be patient with her, to really feel like me meeting her needs was priority. So I want you to start with those things in the first week. Walk right through the syllabus, look at the copyright disclaimer, make sure that you're looking at everything in week 1, and be prepared for the jumping off place in week 2. In week 2, we hit the ground running. You cannot start week 2 being late. So probably your lightest assignments are in the beginning. You've got some 2-page papers every couple of weeks, or every week or so. And then when you get to the last 2 or 3 weeks right before the final, you have some pretty big projects. So you might want to take a look at those early and go ahead and start thinking about what you might want to do. So with that said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I am always happy to help you. You can email me at sbeck@tfc.org, or you can schedule a call that's in the syllabus. You can schedule an appointment with me, and we can either do a phone call or we can do a Teams call and sit down and chit chat for a few minutes. So if you have any trouble doing any of the assignments, please reach out, and I'm more than happy to support you in the best way that you need supporting. All right, hope you have a great day, and I am looking forward to seeing some of you again. I have missed your faces. I'm really excited about this class, and I think it is such a great continuation from some of the things that we did in Founds and Trends. We're taking these conversations a little bit deeper, and really kind of turning the understanding of this is information we're taking in, and now how do I implement that in the classroom? And so our last several activities are for you to video yourself and upload that link for us to watch you present something. And I think that's kind of a neat next step in your education process, so, or your journey. So I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited to be here. I cannot wait to see some of your faces. I have missed you so much. And yes, I am living in Florida. And for those of you who maybe haven't had me in the past, which I think there are only a couple in the group that I didn't know coming in, I was at TFC last year as an education professor, and I taught Founds and Trends, and I worked a lot with, I taught a couple of other things too, but I worked a lot with the students that were in their internship. But before that, I worked as a novice teacher mentor in the state of Florida, and I got to just support new teachers. I was an elementary school teacher before that, and I currently work in a program development and training specialist role around. We work with 15 small and rural districts and provide professional development for them. We support them through progress monitoring, which you guys will learn more and more about. And we go into districts, we do some professional development virtually. We go in and do that within all of our districts, or we go in and do some specific, almost like contract work, where they're hiring us like a consultant to do coaching walks or something like that. So a lot of different hats that we wear, and I'm excited that even though I moved back to Florida, I still get to be part of TFC. It's a really special place, and I am grateful to be part of your lives. So if you have any questions or you need any help, please reach out. I am more than happy to help you. Have a great day.